Hi Singapore, this is National Swimmer Joseph Schooling. Catch the latest news on Team Singapore on 938 Live.
From 938 Live.
This is Formula One driver Fernando Alonso.
Hi Singapore, I'm Jürgen Klinsmann.
Hi, I'm Martin Tyler.
This is Annika Sorensen.
Hi Singapore, this is Johnny Wilson. You're locked on to the best in sports. Cheers.
You're listening to Singapore's longest running and only sports talk show on radio. This is season 16 and we're still going strong. A good Saturday to you and welcome to SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm Raj Kumar and today we turn the spotlight on our Team Singapore athletes competing at the Asian Games. It's already been more than a week of competition and we'll be going through some of the selected results from Team Singapore. And joining me as my co-host today is Noor Farhan.
Well, thanks Raj. And besides the Asian Games, you'll also be hearing from Maria Sharapova and her upcoming event in Singapore at next month's WTA Finals. Now that is an exclusive segment which the WTA had it done for 938 Live. And you also hear from the four-time NBA champion Horace Grant, who's in Singapore for the NBA 3X event happening this weekend at the Sports Hub. We'll also try to preview some of the EPL matches happening this weekend.
And we'll also be giving away 2 copies of the video game Watch Dogs for the PlayStation 3 console. So plenty of stuff to look forward to over the next 45 minutes or so. But right now, let's cross live to Incheon, South Korea, where Team Singapore's chef de mission, Jessie Phua, has been waiting patiently to speak to us on the phone. Hello, Jessie. Thanks for joining us on SportsZone. And I understand that you're now at the venue for canoeing.
Yes, I am.
Hi.
Live from the Hanan Misari Canoe Kayak Center.
That's awesome. Could you start by maybe telling us about the Republic's campaign this morning in the sport of canoeing?
Our kayak foreman, the 1,000-meter foreman, had a very impressive heat, came in third. Very strong, very, very, very impressive finish. So I think you can look towards more impressive races from them.
Okay, let's move on to swimming. And the program ended last night. How would you sum up their overall performance of 1 gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronze medals?
Well, that goes without saying. It is their most impressive swimming achievement at the Asian Games, setting new records, bringing home our first gold in, how many years has it been?
1982, the men's gold medal.
That is a lifetime ago.
Well, hi Jessie, it's Farhan, and I'm sure on the subject of Joseph Schooling, his achievements are something that's very close to your heart, especially, dating back to when you were the CDM at the London 2012 Olympics. Now, moving away from swimming though, perhaps you could shed some light on your...
No, before that, so Jessie, maybe you can shed some light on the achievements of Joseph, because we all know that you have a close bond with his mom, the family, and of course the boy himself.
Absolutely. Well, definitely, if you were on my Facebook page, you would have seen me posted 2 photographs of me and Joseph. And I have said that that's going to go down as one of my most treasured photos, because this young man is going to go down in history as one of our greatest athletes ever.
Well, moving away from swimming though, Jessie, perhaps you could shed some light on your bowlers so far. We've already seen Jazreel Tan win the silver medal in the women's singles, and just last night, I believe Jazreel and Hui Fen finished 4th in the women's doubles. So firstly, what's your take on the women's campaign so far?
Well, wearing my hat as president for Singapore Bowling, the results are subpar. We definitely expected a lot stronger showing by the team. And I believe that you will be able to see the turn of the tide from today onwards.
Well, Jessie, how about the men's team then? Are you confident that they will not return empty-handed from Incheon?
Well, the men's team, we have always known that as a team, they may not be able to stand up to the rest of the teams there. They have possibilities to be able to medal either as singles, doubles, or even like today's trios. But for a team event of 5, that is quite a quantum leap for them.
Now, Jessie, before you go, what other events and which other athletes should we be looking forward to over the final 8 days of competition?
Well, definitely you're going to see a lot of exciting news coming out from the sailing center. And once our table tennis stars start their campaign today, we definitely would be able to see some exciting news coming up from that quarter too.
Well, really looking forward to the events in table tennis. Now, one last question though, Jesse. What's your most memorable moment from the 17th Asian Games after 7 days of competition?
Well, definitely the first top of the list is Joseph's, bringing home the gold. But, with our fencer bringing in the first medal for the games, that definitely is also very memorable.
Well, I suppose that set the tone for the whole Asian Games then, Jessie.
It definitely did. It came to a point where we are rather spoiled. We expect to receive at least a medal every day.
Well,
although that said, I would prefer the medals as it comes in. I would prefer the medals to be of a better shade.
Okay, Jessie.
But don't worry, the medals with better shades are on queue coming in.
On that note, Jessie, thanks very much for joining us. You and your Team Singapore officials are doing extremely well so far. And of course, we've been following all of your activities on Facebook. And all the best to you and our athletes for the rest of the campaign in Incheon.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Jessie Phua, chef de mission of Team Singapore, giving us a live update on the contingent's performance at the halfway mark of the Games.
You're listening to SportsZone on 9-3 Live, and today we turn the spotlight on our Team Singapore athletes competing at the Asian Games. It's already been more than a week of competition, and we'll be going through some of the selected results from Team Singapore. Joining me as my co-host today is Noor Farhan, and I'm Raj Kumar.
Well, thanks Raj, and you just heard from CDM Jessie Phua live from Incheon. Now let's dive in with our athletes and talk about some of the selected results and performances. Now, 4 years ago in Guangzhou, Team Singapore came home with 4 gold, 7 silver and 6 bronze medals. They came from 5 sports, namely sailing, swimming, table tennis, bowling and cue sports. And now at the halfway mark of the 2016 Incheon Games, the Republic is at 1 gold, 3 silver and 7 bronze medals.
Now, exactly a week ago, Lim Wei Wen won the first medal for the Republic when he secured the bronze in the men's individual épée event. The 29-year-old fencer beat the 7th-ranked Nicola Liu of Hong Kong 15-11 in the quarterfinals. But in the semis, Wei Wen was thrashed 15-6 by Jun Jin Sun of South Korea, who actually went on to win the gold. And since there was no bronze medal playoff, Wei Wen bagged the Republic's very first fencing medal in Asian Games history.
And in Sepak Takraw, we won a bronze medal. Now, this is the men's doubles team of Muhammad Farhan Amran, Muhammad Hafiz Noor, and Eddie Noor. Now, they actually lost to Japan 2-1, which denied them a place in the semi-finals. But the Laotian team, which failed to show up for their semis clash against South Korea, and since there was no bronze medal playoff, Singapore were presented with the medal as they were ranked 5th at the Games. And this was Singapore's first medal for Takraw since the 2002 Games. And
that was a very interesting situation where it panned out, where Singapore being ranked 5th and they were granted the medal because the Laotians failed to show up for the semi-finals. They were given, I believe, an extra 1 hour, and apparently they didn't seem bothered, and they just forfeited the match, so to speak. And South Korea, who were supposed to face them, were awarded the game 21-0, and they went on to the finals. And I believe they lost to the Japanese, if I'm not mistaken, who for the gold medal.
Well, you know what they say, Raj, a medal is still a medal, and it still counts on a medal, on our overall medal tally, you know.
But I believe the team is still now going to compete in the Regu. I believe there's still the Regu event for the Takraw boys. Now, Joseph Schooling, on the opening day of the swimming program, marked his Asian Games debut by clinching a silver in the 200 meters butterfly finals. 2 months ago in Scotland, he actually finished in last place in this very discipline at the Commonwealth Games. Can you believe it? He said he was rattled by the fact that, competing at making his debut in the Commonwealth Games, so he went on and finished last. But this time round, he stormed to a silver medal in a time of 1 minute, 57.54 seconds. It's the first swimming medal by a male athlete since the 1990 Asian Games.
Well, let's not forget, Joseph is still a young boy. I'm sure the pressure got to him during the Commonwealth Games, but his experience showed in the Asian Games, and is finally bringing in the results for Team Singapore. Now, in shooting, Jasmine Sir finished in 4th place in the women's 10 meters air rifle finals, and together with Martina Veloso and Cheng Jian Huan, they finished 4th in the team event. Jasmine in Scotland also finished 4th in this same event. And in football, we also saw our young Lions beat Palestine 2-1 in their final group match. But with Tajikistan beating Oman 1-0 in the other group match, Singapore were forced to finish in third place with 4 points. That's a really sad outcome. But both Palestine and Tajikistan advanced into the round of 16 with 6 points each.
There was a heartbreaking moment for the young Lions. The fact that they won their final match, they did beat the group leaders. Maybe the Palestinians were taking it easy. But it goes to show that when you go back, even 1 week earlier when they played Tajikistan in that opening match and they conceded that very, very late goal. You and I have been talking about this goal that it was 1-0 when they lost to Tajikistan. The goal came in the 87th minute, I believe, and we had 9 players defending the corner.
I remember that clearly.
Including goalkeeper Hassan Sani. And all the opponents had only 3 players waiting in the box. So the corner was crossed, one header. And, that was it, 1-0. If we did not lose that game, I think we probably would be in the round of 16 right now.
Exactly. That split second of mistake means, you're already out of the competition.
Yeah. Well, the very next day, it was the third day of the games, and the spotlight fell on the Republic's swim queen, Tao Li. Having already won the gold medal in the 50 meters butterfly in the last 2 Asian Games, the 24-year-old was expected to make it a hat-trick, and this was what happened on Monday night.
Time from lane number 4, Tao Li is pretty good, but so too Lu Ying has got off to a fantastic start. Lane number 6 as well, Se Hang Yu of Hong Kong has got off well, but Tao Li and Lu Ying straight away already, the 2 leading contenders in the 50 meters butterfly. This is where Tao Li actually came back strong in the final 25 meters to clinch gold in 2010. Can she do it again? She's side by side with Lu Ying, who looks the stronger of the two at the moment. It's Lu Ying of China who is going to take gold from Tao Li this time around. Unfortunate for Tao Li, who has to settle for silver. No three-peat for Tao. A triple Tao treat is not going to happen, and Lu Ying gained some revenge by winning in 25.83 seconds. That is a very quick time.
So Tao Li being forced to finish in second in a time of 26.28 seconds. It was the Republic's first silver medal at the Incheon Games. But the question is, could Tao Li have made it a hat-trick of gold medals? Because she did lose by 0.3 of a second to Lu Ying of China. Meanwhile, let's hear now from Tao Li after her silver medal finish.
Today my time's not very good, but I think it's first silver medals for Singapore. Well, that's a good job and I feel proud. The Chinese, she was like second for last year World Champs, so I was 0.7 away from her, and I getting closer to her and only lost 0.4 seconds, so it's not a bad time.
Now, on that same night, Joseph Schooling returned to compete in his second event of the Games. It was the 200 meters individual medley. He was the second fastest in qualifying, but in the final itself, the 19-year-old finished in 4th place with a time of 2 minutes flat. We also saw our men's 4x200 meters freestyle team of Danny Yeo, Pang Sheng-jun, Teo Chen Ren and Clement Lim set a new national record of 7 minutes 25.46 seconds in their 4th place finish in the finals.
On to day 4 of the Games, and Tao Li returned to the pool to compete in the 100 meters butterfly. She was 7th fastest in the qualifying heats in the morning, but in the grand final, the 24-year-old managed to secure a bronze medal with her season best time of 59.08 seconds. Over in Wushu, we saw 17-year-old Tan Yan Ni win the bronze in the women's Changchuan event. Having won the silver at last year's Southeast Asian Games, this Republic Polytechnic student sealed the bronze in Incheon, and she did it by beating the SEA Games gold medalist from Vietnam, Fahan, by just 0.01 point. And this was the first medal from Wushu for Singapore since 2006. Can you imagine? Yeah, she beat the reigning Games champion. Let's see what Tan Yan Ni, 17-year-old from Republic Poly, can do when we host the Games in about 9 months from now.
Well, in day 5 at the Games, it was all about Joseph Schooling as he rewrote the history books. Now, Joseph had won the silver medal in the 100 meters butterfly at the Commonwealth Games, and 3 nights ago he took to the pool for the same event at the Asian Games. Now we pick up the action from the last 50 meters with Mark Richmond.
judges those turns of the wall well. Ikebata of Japan in lane number 2 has got off to a fantastic start. Schooling just 0.02 seconds behind, and Fuji currently in third place. Great turn that was by Joseph Schooling. So here we go now into the final 35. Joseph Schooling just half a body length ahead of the rest of the competition. Going for glory right now. Joseph Schooling of Singapore going for our 10th ever Asian swimming gold medal. Joseph Schooling's got to hang on. 20 to glory. Joseph Schooling still ahead. Joe Schooling ahead of Fuji. Joe Schooling has done it. He has done it. Yes, 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 yes. Joe Schooling, you beautiful, beautiful boy. What a swim that was from Joseph Schooling, 51.76, a games record. Mother May is absolutely mad, and she is mental in the stands. Joe Schooling is an Asian Games champion, the Japanese schooled by Joseph.
You just have to love Mark Richmond and his enthusiasm, and he's the country's most seasoned commentator. and it's interesting when he said, Joseph Schooling, you beautiful, beautiful boy. And he's the only one who's dubbed the 19-year-old as the Singapore Serpent.
Well, I don't know about the word serpent.
Singapore Serpent. Yeah. It has both, some say it sounds negative, but it also sounds like as a very powerful nickname as well.
Yeah.
But
Joseph Schooling became the first man since Ang Peng Siong in 1982 to win gold at the Asian Games, and the 19-year-old did so in stunning fashion with a new Games record time of 51.76 seconds. And here's the swimming sensation, or the Singapore Serpent as you say, Raj, after his gold medal finish.
I was really confident. I knew from the start that I wanted to win, and if someone was going to overtake me, they'd have to die trying. Sergio told me it's all about winning. When it comes to meets like this, even if I go like 55 and win a gold medal, it's still a gold medal. So as far as the results concerned, I'm really, really happy, really pleased, a little relieved.
Now, over in bowling, Jazreel Tan won the Republic's first medal in the sport when she clinched the silver. In the women's singles, the 25-year-old scored 1,277 pins and was only 14 pinfalls behind the gold medalist from Chinese Taipei.
Now on to day 6 of the Games, and after days of firing blanks, the Republic's shooters were finally spot on as Kai Pin, Po Lip Ming and Nigel Lim won the bronze medal in a 25-meter standard pistol team event. The trio had a combined score of 1,692 points, and it was redemption for them as the men's team came back empty-handed from Scotland 2 months ago. Switching over to swimming, Joseph was back in action for his 4th event of the Games. This was the 50 meters butterfly, and although he was expected to win this event, the University of Texas freshman had to settle for the silver medal instead with his time of 23.70 seconds, and in doing so, he became the first ever athlete to win medals in all 3 butterfly events at the Asiad.
Over in day 7, Singapore's Derek Wong was unable to replicate his Commonwealth Games performance when he was knocked out in the men's badminton singles round of 16. He won the silver 2 months ago in Scotland, but this time around the 25-year-old lost to his Chinese Taipei opponent 2-0 in the round of 16. And in shooting, our men's shooter Gai Bin finished 3rd in the men's 25 meters centre fire pistol final. He grabbed a total score of 584 points, and his bronze is the 17-member shooting squad's second medal at the Games.
Now in swimming action, and Joe Schooling was unable to add another medal to cap off his campaign in Korea, and that's after he and his teammates Reina Ng, Christopher Cheong and Clement Lim finished 6th in the final of the men's 4x100 meters medley relay. Meanwhile, in the women's 50 meters freestyle finals, 3-time SEA Games defending champion Amanda Lim clocked a time of 25.73 seconds to finish in 7th place, while Nur Marina Chan finished a spot behind with a new personal best timing of 25.91 seconds.
And last night marked the close of the swimming program, and after 6 days of action, the Republic swimmers returned home with 1 gold, 2 silver and 2 bronze medals. Don't forget to catch MediaCorp's exclusive interview with Joe Schooling tonight on Octo from 9 p.m. onwards. Now, in other results in water polo in women, we saw our women. They opened their campaign when they lost 12-4 to Uzbekistan. They lost to China 26-3. They beat Hong Kong 12-4. They were thrashed by Kazakhstan 27-2, and they ended up finishing in 5th place when they lost to Japan 23-1. Our men's campaign got underway 2 days ago. They beat Hong Kong 13-4, but last night they lost to South Korea 9-8, and today they'll face Kazakhstan. That's all the time we have on our Team Singapore athletes. Let's hope that they'll continue to do their best over the next 8 days of competition. Time now for the news headlines, and when we return, you'll hear from the 4-time NBA champion Horace Grant, who's in Singapore. Plus, Maria Sharapova talks about her upcoming campaign in Singapore for the WTA Finals. It's also your chance to win a copy of the Watch Dogs video game for the PS3 console. So all that and more on SportsZone right here on 938 Live.
Hey Singapore, this is Liverpool legend Ian Rush. For all your football news, stay tuned to 938 Live Sports.
You're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live, and today we turn the spotlight on our Team Singapore athletes competing at the Asian Games. It's already been a week of competition, and we just went through in the first part of the show as we spoke to the chef de mission of Team Singapore, Jessie Phua, and we also went through some of the results, the key results with comprising our Team Singapore athletes and the performances. I'm Raj Kumar, and along with me on today's show is my co-host Noor Farhan.
Well, what's up next, Raj?
That's right.
We're going to have a game to give away.
Before we hear from the 4-time NBA champion Horace Grant, who's in Singapore for the NBA 3X event that's happening at the Sports Hub this weekend, and before we even hear from Maria Sharapova, and before we even do our look at the key EPL fixtures this weekend.
Big games going on.
Let's
Two derbies, in fact.
Yeah, we've got 2 prizes to give away for the PlayStation 3 console. This is, of course, for the game Watch Dogs. This was released a couple of months ago, and it's been doing very well on the market across all the platforms. Of course, this was set in Chicago, the game storyline that is, where a central network of computers connects everyone and everything. The game explores the impact of technology within our society. And the main character, Aiden Pierce, he's a brilliant hacker. He's got a criminal past, and what he's trying to do is he's trying to seek out justice for the fact that his niece was murdered. So his niece was murdered in the game. The game, like I said, is set in the Windy City of Chicago. But to tell us more about this game is Jonathan Toyard, who's a renowned gaming editor and consultant in Singapore.
Like the mechanic where you can actually remote control a lot of things through your handphone, like opening up police barriers and changing the traffic light and even making steam pipes blow up. That's a really good feature, actually. Like, it actually introduces a new element in finding enemies, because Aiden, for all of his skill set, he actually dies really fast. So you kind of need to take cover, be a very sneaky guy, sneak around, check on the CCTV on where the enemies are coming out here and there, and then you can make your phones explode and all that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's right, a pretty cool game for the hackers wannabe, I'll put it politely.
All right. Right, then we're looking for 2 listeners for a chance to win a copy of Watch Dogs for the PS3 console. And if you won prizes on SportsZone in the last 4 weeks, you cannot take part today. On that note, here's the contest question. And the question is, in the Watch Dogs game, the main character, Aiden Pierce, is looking to solve the murder of someone. Who is that person? We'll give you 4 choices. Is it the murder of his grandmother, his father, his son, or his niece? Once again, who is the person that was murdered? Was it his grandfather, his father, his son, or his niece? Call us now at 669-11938 with your answer.
Of course, the games are courtesy of our friends from Ubisoft. And while you head to the phone lines, over in NBA basketball news, his professional playing career spanned across 17 years till he retired in 2004. And it first began when he was drafted to the Chicago Bulls along with Scottie Pippen in 1987. Since then, Horace Grant went on to win 3 NBA championship rings alongside Pippen and Michael Jordan. The power forward also played for the Orlando Magic, the Seattle Supersonics, and with the championship-winning LA Lakers team in the 2001 season. Well, I spoke to Horace just yesterday, and I first asked about what he's been up to since retiring in the last 10 years.
Well, I've been a full-time husband, dad, and I'm a goodwill ambassador for the NBA. I travel internationally, helping the NBA out to just spread the goodwill of basketball among many nations.
Looking back at your playing career, almost 17 years as a pro, who is that one guy that you would say is the best that you've played against or played with?
Well, played with, it has to be Michael Jordan. I mean, a lot of people ask me to compare, Kobe, LeBron. It's unfairly because Michael is in a class by himself. But the one guy that I played against was who kind of, I wouldn't say put fear in my heart, but kept me up at nights was Kevin McHale, who is the Houston Rocket coach now, played with the Boston Celtics.
Not many players can say that they played for both the Chicago Bulls and the Los Angeles Lakers. It's like in soccer, not many players can say they played for Liverpool and Manchester United, the arch rivals. But you did so maybe you can tell us a bit about that time playing for both these huge clubs.
Well, it was just an honor to play for two historic franchises, meaning the Chicago Bulls and the Los Angeles Lakers. Start off with the Chicago Bulls, to be able to be on the floor with guys like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and be coached by a guy like Phil Jackson. And the Chicago fans, back in the day was just unbelievable. Whenever we, stepped on the court, we had the mentality of, it's team first, individual second. And that's one reason why the Chicago Bulls have won 6 championships. And with the Lakers, you talk about historic franchise in terms of, before me, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Kareem, Byron Scott, you can go on and on. But with in my state, Shaq, Kobe, Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, Robert Horry, Brian Shaw, you can go on and on. Just to be part of something like that, something special, I'm very blessed.
What of the 4 championship rings that you have, which is the one that you hold closest, is most dear to you?
Each and every one of them have their special place and special moment. It's tough to say one is better than the other one, but if I had to choose one, it's nothing like that first one, in terms of getting to the finals for the first time and playing against a team like who was led by Magic Johnson, I would say was the best one.
And having played for the Bulls for 7 years, would you say that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, or is he the greatest of a generation?
Well, I can't speak for back in the Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson days or Bob Cousy, but as far as I've seen basketball, Michael Jordan is the greatest. From his leadership, a guy being competitive, and a leader that pushed his teammates to a limit that we didn't know we had to win championships.
You also played for the Orlando Magic for 5 seasons. What was the experience like playing alongside the one and only Shaquille O'Neal?
Shaq, he was a young Shaq, and, the guy was just such a dominant force, throughout his career. And just to be on a team with him and Penny Hardaway and Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott, and even Brian Shaw was on that team when we went to the finals my first year there. It was just a great experience.
And Shaquille, I believe, was in Singapore, I think in the mid-90s, also for an NBA event, when he was still with the Orlando Magic. With a career that spanned almost 17 years, would you say that maybe your biggest regret is not having played for the Stars and Stripes as in Team USA for the Olympics?
Well, I wouldn't say a regret, but, if I was chosen or I had a tryout, it could have been different. But there was no regret in my, 17-year career, because I had such a great one, had won 4 championships, made an all-star team, and now I'm doing something that, I love to do in terms of helping kids.
About 2 months ago, the United States were crowned world champions yet again. They beat the Serbians in the grand final. But there's been some talk and some noise that maybe it's about time that the NBA players are excluded from, from taking part in the World Championship. What do you say to that?
Well, I say you're supposed to bring your best, and that's what the World Championship basketball is all about. You can't have young college kids going over. We tried that, and I think we got 3rd or 4th place a few years back, and we kind of wanted to repeat that. It would be like, okay, bring our best soccer team over, and play in the World Cup, but the other countries bring their junior team. So it's all about bringing your best.
Now, staying with the present situation with the NBA, do you feel that LeBron James made the right move in moving back to Cleveland? And do you think the San Antonio Spurs can do it all over again and go all the way to the finals in about 8 months from now?
I think you can say checkmate on LeBron, because he made one of the best decisions he could ever have made in terms of going back to Cleveland. He has such a good team around him in terms of Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, Verjao, I mean, a whole bunch of other guys. I think they have a legitimate chance of winning that NBA championship.
Now, back in the day, besides your powerful playing style, one thing that set you apart from the rest of the players was the fact that you wore the special eyewear, the goggles. I mean, you were like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of that generation. Could you shed some light on the specific eyewear that you had?
Well, basically, I was kind of legally blind, and I had to put goggles on to kind of see where I was going out there on the court. And, once that happened, the goggles were born. And, I had parents and grandparents coming up to me telling me that, now their children and grandchildren don't get teased in terms of wearing the goggles during their sport activities. I kind of made it cool for them to wear goggles, so I just continued to wear.
That's a really nice story. Now, finally, I mean, you're in Singapore for the first time. You brought along the Minnesota Timberwolves cheerleaders, and it's all part of the NBA 3X experience over the weekend. What is your advice to the players, the Singaporeans who are going to play over the weekend?
Well, I've been doing this for the NBA for about 6-7 years now, and my advice to the Singapore players over here for the 3X NBA challenge is you go out and you play hard, you be the best teammate you can possibly be, and leave everything out there on the court.
And there was 49-year-old Horace Grant, who's in Singapore for the 2014 NBA 3X basketball event, together with the dancers from the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are known as the dancers, not cheerleaders. I was reminded by the NBA staff yesterday. And the two-day event, the NBA 3X that is, will see teams of men and women from the age of 10 and upwards compete at a sports hub in a 3-on-3 format. I believe last year's version, there were about 100 teams that competed. This time round, I'm sure there's more than 100, and they're all competing this weekend at the Sports Hub. So do go down and watch some really top-class 3-on-3 action. And for the video version of the Horace Grant interview, that's going to be up on the official 9-3 Live Facebook page over the next 1-2 days.
Well, before we go on to tennis, Raj, we do have some prizes to give away, don't we?
That's right. Just a while ago, we asked you, the contest question was, whose murder is Aiden Pearce trying to solve in the game Watch Dogs? Of course, he was trying to solve the murder of his niece. And our two contest winners were Wong Kui Ho and Kinson Gunn. Kui Ho and Kinson, congratulations. You won for yourself a copy of the game for the PS3 console, courtesy of our friends from Ubisoft.
Right now, turning over to tennis, and we are just about 5 weeks away to the WTA finals, which will be held in Singapore. Now, among the stars who will be coming include Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova, and third seed Simona Halep. Well, the WTA spoke to Maria less than a week ago before she competed at the Wuhan Open in China. And this segment is exclusively to 938 Live, and the WTA media officer first asked Maria about trying to qualify for the season-ending championship.
Well, one of the goals while starting the year is making it to making one of those positions of the top 8 girls. They've had a great year, and it's myself in a really good position. So obviously, I know that it's one of the most challenging tournaments during the year. But overall, it's a great position to be in, and I hope that I can elevate my level there.
This will be the first time that you've played competitively in Singapore. What can fans expect to see from you and from the other players who've qualified?
I think it'll be a really exciting event for everyone, for us, for the fans. I think we've been seeing that excitement throughout as the year has been going on in all the tournaments and the road to Singapore and all the promotions we've done as well. The feedback has been really great from fans over there, and a lot of them posting their tickets online and on Twitter, and so that's been fun because you see that excitement building up, and it's only 5 weeks till the tournament begins.
Do you have any experiences or memories of Singapore, having been there previously?
There's a lot to do, a lot to see culturally. I think it has great shopping, great hotels, great food. So I think there's a little bit of everything, but most importantly, one of the biggest tennis events there.
And if you could do one thing on this trip, aside from winning the tournament, what would it be?
I don't know. I'll have to get some some tips from the locals there, but maybe buy some things that are unique to that region and that area. Christmas is just around the corner, so maybe there'll be some good gifts that I can bring back.
Last year's end of season WTA finale was held in Istanbul, and what differences are you expecting with the event this year being held in Asia?
I think it's a nice change. I think the championships in Istanbul were a big success. I played there a couple of times, and the fans were very into it. You saw full crowds, which is very inspiring as an athlete when you go out on the court. And obviously, bringing that game, we hope to bring it to Singapore, and you see your new fans, some people that aren't able to see that type of professional tennis on that level, especially come to Singapore. I think it's a big treat for everyone.
And lastly, there will be a new element this year to the WTA finals with a Legends Invitational. Was there a legend of the game that particularly inspired you growing up?
I've always admired Monica Seles. I think I can make a really long list, but I think she always stood out, and she was very ferocious, and never had that never giving up attitude on the court, which I really admired. But there's so many players that I admired when I was coming up. So many had great qualities, and that created rivalries against each other, and it was I think it's a great element to add to the WTA finals.
And that was Maria Sharapova talking about her campaign ahead of Singapore, her appearance in Singapore at next month's WTA Finals. And for more information, do check out their official websites at WTAfinals.com. Now, this event will take place at the Indoor Stadium and the Sports Hub, and it'll take place between 17th of October and till the 26th of October. And ticket prices range between $17 to about $196.
And of course, we'll continue to build up towards the first time that the Republic is hosting to the WTA Finals over the next 4 weeks. We've got more stuff lined up, including tickets as well to win on the following editions of SportsZone. Meanwhile, time now for Traffic Watch, and when we return, it's our EPL preview of the weekend's key matches. So time now for Traffic Watch.
Hey Singapore, this is Manchester United legend Lee Sharp. Stay locked on with the guys on SportsZone, only on 938 Live.
And welcome back to the final stretch on SportsZone. It's the Rajman along with Noah Farhan, and we just got a few minutes to talk about the weekend's key matches. We got two big games, especially the derbies with the Arsenal taking on Spurs, and of course Liverpool playing host to Everton. But first, I think let's talk about Manchester United and the season that they had, and they are going to host West Ham United tonight.
Yeah, that'll be at 10 p.m. later tonight, and it's going to be quite a big match. I mean, they came back from. They're going to be playing from the 5-3 loss against Leicester. Let's not forget that. Louis van Gaal, of course, is going to have to reshuffle his defense, especially after injuries to 3 of his main key central defenders. And word is that he could even field one of his youngsters from the reserve team to the game against West Ham.
Of course, the 3 defenders are Johnny Evans, Chris Smalling, and
Phil Jones.
And Phil Jones, yeah. And like you said, the game against Leicester was nothing short but incredible. For all the neutrals and for the Leicester fans, the fact that they were trailing by 2 goals and then they come back and they put 4 past the Red Devils. It's the first time that United have lost a game in the Premier League, especially after having taken a 2-goal lead. So, and a lot of questions are being asked, about Louis van Gaal's philosophy. He keeps saying they need time, but how much more time do you need? I mean, you've already brought in about 7 new players, spent close to $250 million. But like you said, Chris Smalling's absence is probably a huge blow to the Red Devils for this game, who are already without 3 other senior defenders. And Louis van Gaal admits he could be forced to field some of his youth players against the Hammers.
I have to admit that I'm never in this situation before. We have a lot of injuries, 9 injuries now, 1 suspended, Blackett. So I have to go to the youth education and to pick up players.
So Farhan, being a United fan, I mean, we know that David Moyes was sacked after 34 matches in the season. They didn't even allow him to finish the 38 games. So 34 matches, he was sacked. You, as a United fan, how do you feel about what's going on?
I do think that Louis van Gaal, he has the clout. He knows what he's doing. That's the impression I get from him watching his press conferences. I do believe he needs time, but then again, how much more can fans wait? How much more can we keep receiving the same sort of let's give it them time. Let's give it them time. How much more of this can we stand?
Exactly. So tonight, Manchester United versus West Ham United. One person who I know will be looking really forward to this clash is Tony Fernandes, the CEO of AirAsia and the owner of Queen's Park Rangers. We all know that QPR lost to United about 2 weekends ago. I believe the score was 4-0. It was the only win for the Red Devils. And Tony himself is a hardcore Hammers fan. So in a way, he's looking forward to this clash because probably today is the best chance to actually beat United and gain a measure of personal revenge from his part. But so what do you think? It's going to be a draw?
Well, I think it's going to be a really narrow win. I predict that Van Gaal is going to pack the defense this time because safety first. He can't afford to lose this match.
Yeah.
So perhaps after a goal or two, he's going to pack the defense and close shop. That's what I predict. So 2-0.
I think it's the Hammers to win by 1 goal at Old Trafford. Okay, very quickly on Arsenal versus Tottenham. Tottenham, of course, losing last weekend to West Brom at White Hart Lane.
Exactly, but they have a full squad as compared to Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, have got key defenders, Matthew Debussy and Nacho Monreal out injured, so they're going to line up Callum Chambers and Kieran Gibbs out on the flanks. Their defense has been really, really shaky as well, just like Man United. But yeah, let's hear from what Arsene Wenger has to say about Spurs.
It's an opportunity for us to take points in a Premiership where every point counts, and it looks again that this season that every point is difficult to make. So, of course, we play a home game, and we want to win our home games. It's early in the season to judge a team. They have certainly less introduction of new players than last year, so they will benefit from the stability, and he's a quality manager. He has shown that at Southampton. Apart from Tottenham, I always was a fan of technical stability for 2 reasons, because there's a line of conduct inside the club, and as well it's better the manager is the history and carries the values of the club than anybody else. If you change the manager every year or two, of course that's not easy. Look, I am more proud to achieve our targets every year. That was to be in the Champions League, and apart from that, most of the time to be in the Champions League, one of our rivals was Tottenham.
So Arsenal versus Spurs at the Emirates. A quick prediction.
I think Arsenal is definitely going to win this. But again, a narrow win for them. I think it's a 1-0 with Danny Welbeck perhaps scoring a goal.
Yeah, I think it'll be the Gunners for the win. And over at Merseyside, it's Liverpool versus Everton. Your take on this match?
Well, I think Liverpool is definitely going to win this. Everton have not won at Anfield since last century, in fact, 27 September 1999. But last January, of course, the Reds thrashed Everton 4-0. I think this is the match where they're going to repeat that result. I think another 4-0 win for Liverpool.
So Everton have not won at Anfield since 1999.
Yeah, that's
now
right.
that's the kind of stupid statistic that will ruin Liverpool's campaign today. Me being speaking from a fan of the Reds, so I think, yeah, whatever it is, I think it's going to be a draw. But and Everton coming off that loss as well last weekend. Liverpool also coming off that loss last weekend. So let's see what happens this weekend in the Premier League. We're out of time. Thanks very much for joining us on this edition of SportsZone. I'm the Rajman.
And I'm Noor Farhan.
And you've been listening to SportsZone on 938 Live.